Welcome to a brief history of, where we explore the comic book origins of characters appearing on the big screen in a short amount of time. As comic books often are, there are many different incarnations and versions of a character, but today we will be focusing on Otis Flannegan's The Ratcatcher, the father of Ratcatcher II, who will be appearing in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and who's going to be portrayed by Portuguese actress Daniela Melchior. The original Ratcatcher is also said to appear in flashbacks. Otis Flannegan's Ratcatcher first appeared in Detective Comics issue 585 on April 1988 and was created by writers Alan Grant and John Wagner and artist Norman Bayfogle. The Ratcatcher gets a 2-issue continuous run from issue 585 The Ratcatcher to issue 586 called Rat Trap. Having operated on both sides of the law, Otis Flannegan worked as an actual rat catcher for Gotham and for Gotham PD before sinking into a life of crime when he was sent to state penitentiary and served about 10 years for stabbing and murdering a man in a street brawl. He was eventually released, but when he did, he sought revenge against those people who were responsible for putting him behind bars and started kidnapping and murdering those responsible. Flannegan calls himself the Ratcatcher because he has a special trait, which is the ability to communicate with and train rats. Deep inside the sewers of Gotham, 4 men sit in a makeshift cell, prisoners of the Ratcatcher. Among the prisoners is a man who has gone blind from his mistreatment, and Judge Wyatt Hogan, who sentenced him to prison. The judge manages to escape his cell, but is spotted by the Ratcatcher. The judge desperately searches for a way out of the sewers, but the Ratcatcher sends an army made up of hundreds of well-trained rats to pursue him. Judge Hogan eventually escapes from the sewers but is mauled to death by Ratcatcher's rats. As he is mauled to death, he lets out a scream which alerts the Batman, who's busy fighting and stopping an arms deal. But by the time Batman arrives, the rats have already torn. While the GCPD take over the scene and identify the victim as Judge Wyatt Hogan, Batman spots the Ratcatcher and follows him into the sewers, where he meets the villain. Ratcatcher orders his rats to attack Batman, and Batman is briefly overwhelmed but manages to drive the rats off. When this fails, Ratcatcher opens a floodgate intending to drown Batman with hundreds of gallons of sewer water, leaving the Ratcatcher's debut issue on a cliffhanger. In the follow-up issue, he watches the sewer waters wash Batman away. He leaves Batman for dead and returns for his remaining prisoners, 3 other men who had convicted him of murder years ago. Against all odds, however, Batman manages to survive the flood, though in bad health from swallowing all the sewage water. Batman immediately sets out to search for the Ratcatcher's prisoners, with only a makeshift torch lighting his way. Meanwhile, Commissioner Gordon sends several patrolmen and a sanitation worker into the sewers, but the policemen are quickly driven off by the rats, and the sanitation worker is overpowered and killed. Nevertheless, the Ratcatcher realizes that the police will eventually overwhelm his makeshift prison and decides to execute his prisoners before making an escape. After consulting a sanitation department official, Commissioner Gordon realizes that the mastermind behind the rats must be Otis Flannegan, a former sanitation worker. While the commissioner rallies a large police force, Batman encounters Flannegan's rat horde again and uses his torch, along with a pail of gasoline, to burn them alive. Subsequently, Batman finds Flannegan's prisoners, where Flannegan has already killed another of his prisoners. Without his rats to help him, Flannegan quickly falls to Batman, who brings him and the 2 surviving prisoners to the surface. A weary Batman then leaves for Leslie Tompkins' clinic, half-jokingly passing up a fight with a stray rat on the way. Thus ends the Ratcatcher's reign of terror. Let's go over Ratcatcher's few abilities. He can control an army of rats at his command, manipulate various cyanide gases, and he wields a gas gun. The Ratcatcher II will be an original character made exclusively for James Gunn's incarnation of the Suicide Squad and will be portrayed by actress Daniela Melchior. This Ratcatcher, called Ratcatcher II, is depicted as a female, a former exterminator who turned to a life of crime while being aided by an army of small rats she can communicate with and control. She was the protege of Otis Flannegan, the original Ratcatcher, and became a member of the 2nd Task Force X strike team sent to Cordo Maltese, where she forms a possible close relationship with Bloodsport. Let me know if you are excited for the new Suicide Squad movie from James Gunn, coming out August 6th. this year. It will be interesting to see if they can top 2016 Suicide Squad by David Ayer. Let me know if you think it can, and thanks for watching. #release the Ayer cut.